So welcome to my kitchen. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome to Cooking Today. Glad you're with me. It's October. Do I look like a pumpkin? I put this shirt on and realized that it's a little themey, but I sure love fall. I love October. It's my favorite month. I've told y'all before, I'm the girl that everybody rolls their eyes at on like social media because I love fall so much that I'm kind of maybe dorky about it a little bit. I absolutely love it. And part of the reason that I love it is because I love heavy soups. I love good sturdy soups and comfort dishes. And so, you know, we cooked several light things and some salads and some little nice, you know, grilled things in the summer, which were all really good. I hope you tried some of them. But I just can't wait for sturdy soups and chilies and just things like that, and game watching and people over. You know, when September and October get here for our family, we host a lot. We host and when I say that, I mean we host probably a lot more than the norm because we have a lot of church groups that meet at our house, you know, because my husband's pastor. So I actually counted up how many people will probably come through here in a month. Like at this point, I started to actually count, and you're never going to believe it when I tell you. You're going to think I'm making it up. Probably about 150 people this month. Just over the course of about 4 weeks, we'll have about 150 people here. We have a group of 30 kids that come here every Wednesday night and hang out. We have a community group that meets here on Sunday nights with adults. We host, I don't know, different dinners and stuff like that. I don't cook for every one of those. Sometimes we'll do, you know, potluck or something else, but it's an awful lot of folks. So a couple of weekends ago, we actually had a group of folks over to watch Razorback game, which I just love. Go Hogs, don't we love them? And I pulled out my favorite. It had just started to feel kind of cool. And so this is one of my absolute favorite crowd-pleasing soups. And it's just chili, but it's not just chili. It's really good chili. It is brown sugar chili, and I serve it over cheese grits. Isn't that delicious? I know, don't question it. You're just gonna have to try it. Here is one of my crowd feeding tips, because you know, obviously, I've let you know how, I mean, I'm literally a crowd feeder. So when I say that I am, I mean it. So one of my tips on feeding crowds is I'm making this soup, you know, this chili, but we're serving it over something that kind of beefs it up, cheese grits. So it goes a little further. It adds a little bit of an extra good bite. It's got a little creaminess. It's really good. You could also, you know, so anytime you've got some kind of a soup or something that you want to serve and you just kind of need to stretch it to feed lots of folks, you could serve it over grits. You can serve it over rice. I know a lot of people that'll do a rice. But why would you do rice when you can do cheese grits? I don't know. So today we are making brown sugar chili served over cheese grits. Now, I haven't made cheese grits since my very first episode, which has just been 10 months ago. Can you even believe that? I cannot believe that. And it's a hit. It's good. I know y'all are making it because you tell me about it. It's so easy. And what's really fun about these grits is that when you put your chili on top of your grits, you don't even have to have cheese. You know, like a lot of the fixins and stuff that go on top. We do serve it with some fixins just because I like the fixins. But you don't even have to have it because you've got the cheesiness and the creaminess from the bottom that you kind of can spoon in, or some people stir theirs completely in. I kind of keep mine separated, like chili on top, grits on the bottom, and I kind of just take a little spoon and I'm kind of create every little bite. But it is delicious. All we have going, it's a pretty classic beginning recipe for chili. And then we're going to get to kind of some fun things that we're adding to it that give it a little bit of a different flavor. So I have some oil in my Dutch oven, and I have one medium yellow onion. And I'm gonna just give that a little scrape off into my oven and let these get a little tender for a minute. And I don't have to let those go too long without anything on them because I'm gonna put my meat in there and let that brown in there with the onions. But I do like to give them just a minute or two just to kind of get going on their own. And then we have cans. This is the beauty of chili. Look at the cans. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cans. Easy. That's why this one is one that you can really kind of pull out at any point. The grits can be in your pantry. The velveeta can be in your pantry. The meat can be in your freezer, and all of this can be on hold. It is such a great staple dish for you to have to be able to just pull out whenever you need it. And you just kind of never know when company might drop by or when you just might feel the itch to have some folks over. So I'm gonna give this a little stir. We're gonna throw in our meat and let that start browning, and when we come back, we'll start on our cheese grits. This is Cooking Today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by West Rock Coffee Company.
Hi, welcome back to Cooking Today. I'm making my favorite fall crowd pleaser. This is brown sugar chili with cheese grits together, served like ladled over, mixed in. It is delicious. Let me tell you what I've got going. We have gotten our onion nice and tender, and then I just browned 2 pounds of, I do 80-20. I like a little bit of extra fat in the meat, and I think it's very, very tender. And I don't drain it. I know you can drain your fat off if you want to off of the meat, but there is flavor in fat, and it just kind of mixes in with like all this good stuff in the beans and good stuff in the seasoning. So I leave it in there. You can certainly drain it if you would like. But I'm not, so we have sauteed onions and 2 pounds of ground beef. And then just at the very end, I'm gonna go ahead and spoon in my chopped garlic. I have 2 cloves of chopped garlic. And I'm really just kind of putting this in here so that it can kind of get tender in here before I start adding all my cans. So I'm gonna stir that in and give it just a few minutes to kind of get soft in there with all of that meat and the onions. Now, before we start dumping all of our cans, let's start on our grits. We have made these before. They are delicious. These are not gonna be as rich as the cheese grits that I made with our shrimp, because, you know, in that recipe, I really wanted them to be really, really, really rich and really savory and really creamy and a little bit spicy, because all we were putting on it was just some kind of seasoned shrimp and that little bit of just a little sauce. So the grits played a big role. In this, we are the supporting role. Grits are the supporters. And so I'm not gonna make them as big and crazy and rich. In the grits I made in January with our shrimp and grits, we actually did chicken stock and milk. And the chicken stock really makes them super duper savory. But we're not doing that with this. We just want these to be really a little bit more mild, a little bit creamier, and just cheesy. And that's it. And like I said, it just kind of helps fill bellies and stretch our bowls of chili. So what I've got in my big stock pot here, or my saucepan, is 2 cups of milk, 2 cups of water, and 1 stick of butter. And we're gonna let that melt down while we wait. And then what we'll do is we'll whisk in our cheese, our grits, just a little bit of garlic. And that's about it. I really don't make them spicy or anything like that. I'm going to put a lid on this, and I'm gonna leave it tipped. Now this is important. Milk, once it decides to boil, you don't wanna scald it, so you really wanna kind of turn that up low and you know, let it come to a boil. You don't wanna get on there and kind of give it all the power you've got. Once milk decides to boil, it boils up. So you really have to kind of be watching it. So when I had all that company at my house a couple weekends ago, and I made this dish, I had all the ladies in here and we were visiting, and my milk boiled over. And it makes a racket. It puts out your fire. It fills your oven with scalded milk. It was not a pretty sight. So watch your milk, okay? So I'm going to give that a little tip of my lid and really be watching. So if anybody who's looking this direction in the room, like my two cameramen, start to see trouble, I need some. Give me the wave. Okay, back to our chili. Ready, y'all? This is so easy. We've got our meat. We have our tender onions. And then we're just gonna go. This is kind of Southwest. There's kind of a fun little extra seasoning in it. Here's what we've got. 4 cans of beans. I use 4, not just 4 cans, but 4 styles. Styles? Do you say styles of beans? Versions? Versions of beans? Varieties? Variety sounds more like a cooking word, doesn't it? Style is like styles of jeans or boots. Anyway, we have 4 different varieties of beans. I have a can of black beans, and I haven't rinsed all these off, and I didn't drain them. You know how sometimes you can kind of smush them down and drain them all the way out? You know, there's just that little bit of liquid on the top. I went like this, and that's about it. So there's a little bit of liquid in every can. So, y'all, this is so pretty. It's such a pretty, pretty, pretty bowl. So I have black beans. I have dark red kidney that, again, I just kind of drained the top off. Look how pretty it's already getting. Isn't that wonderful? I have regular pinto. And then I have light red. So I have 4 different colors, shapes, and textures of beans. That's so pretty. Look, I love it. Okay, we're gonna stir in a couple of fun things. All the flavor is coming, so we're gonna do that when we get back. We're gonna check on our milk and be sure that we don't have a big boil over mess. And we're gonna stir up our grits when we come back. This is Cooking Today.
Iced tea, sponsored by Lipton.
Experience the local sounds, sights, and taste of the Fayetteville Farmers Market.
Do you know the producer behind your food?
What about how far away your food was grown?
Local to us means your food is harvested hours before traveling less than 60 miles to our market.
Enjoy music, chef demos, and special events while you shop for locally grown produce, meats, cheeses, flowers, artisan crafts, fine art, and more.
Visit us Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on the square.
The Fayetteville Farmers Market, 100% local and loved.
Hi, welcome back to Cooking Today. We're making brown sugar chili and cheese grits, and I'm gonna check my milk because I think I can hear it. You know, I said you don't want to let that go too long because it will boil over. We're starting to get a little bit of action. Our butter has melted, and I've got my whisk over there. Now, this is important too about your grits. They spit as they cook, like they bubble and pop and bubble and pop and bubble and pop. So if you don't make your grits in a pan or a pot that is big enough, you don't have any room for them to bubble up without going out and over onto your stove, and they turn into concrete as soon as they kind of hit air or hit your counter, and they're a mess to clean. So I'm doing this chili or this grits recipe in like a 3.5 quart saucepan that's kind of taller. So if you can do something like that, do something like that. Or at least something that has a lid so you can kind of tip it when we put the grits in so that as they cook, you're not sad because it's going all over your kitchen. Okay, here we go. We have got our grits going in because our milk started to simmer up. Now, what's important about grits, if you want to stir them in slowly and whisk as you go or they'll clump. And all I'm using are 5-minute, like quick cook grits. I am not using stone ground, and I am not using, you know, anything fancy that takes a long time. I'm just using the 5-minute grits. 5-minute grits are not instant grits. You do not want instant grits because they basically have 0 texture, and they kind of just taste like gritty milk. It's like sand, and that's not what you want. And so these 5-minute quick cook grits are great. Here they are. I'm going to show them to you. They come in the same thing, in the same container. It says quick 5 minutes. So that's kind of key to this, okay? So we have put those in. I'm making sure that they are not clumped, and then I'm going to let them simmer. And all I'm going to do right here is put in just a pinch of salt and a little bit of garlic. You don't want to oversalt them because the cheese we're going to put in is super salty. So they're going to get plenty savory just by melting all of our cheese in that we're going to do just in a minute. And then I am making these just a little bit of garlic flavored with some granulated garlic in the pot. Easy as that. Okay, give this one more whisk to be sure that we are not clumped and that the seasoning is mixed in. And we're just going to let those simmer for, I don't know, just a couple minutes. I'm just going to kind of keep my eyes on it. In the meantime, we have dumped all of our pretty cans of our beans so quick, just 1, 2, 3, 4 in our meat. And here is all the fun seasoning and the flavors that I love to put in my chili that isn't necessarily a traditional way. I add 2 cans of original Rotel, and I don't drain these because, you know, a lot of the heat from Rotel is actually in the liquid, so we want the liquid on these. So here we go. 1 can of Rotel, another can of Rotel. If you only have 1 can, you can just use 1 can. That's not a big deal. Then I like to add in a small 4-ounce jar, 4-ounce can of green chilies. And I love the Hatch brand. If you can find the Hatch brand, they're just delicious. Look at this color before we stir this in. Is that pretty or what? Isn't this great flavor? Then I'm doing my regular old packet of chili seasoning. You know, I'm big on making my own seasonings, so generally I do. But this is quick, and part of the beauty of this whole meal is how fast and kind of instant it is. So this is a packet of chili seasoning mix that seasons 2 pounds of meat. So putting that in. Then, this is such a fun little flavor that kind of creams it up a little bit. 1 packet of Hidden Valley Ranch regular old salad dressing mix or seasoning mix. You know, there's several kinds of these. There's like, I don't know, robust and buttermilk. It doesn't even matter. Whatever you've got, we're going to put it in, okay? Look at that. Kind of adds like a little bit of like a creamy, you know that ranch that we love? There's a tiny bit of that tang, a little bit creamy, a little bit herby. It's delish. Then I'm going to get one of my tasting spoons, and just to go ahead and tomato this up just a little bit, because you know we didn't add regular tomatoes, we added Rotel tomatoes, which added heat. So we do want the base of it to have a little bit of a tomatoey flavor. I just have a small can, 6 ounce of tomato paste. And I don't necessarily think I'm going to use it all. I might just do about half or so. That's up to you. Because, you know, chili should be a little bit tomatoey, right? And last but not least, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. We've got heat, we've got this ranch flavor, we've got all these neat varieties of beans, green chilies, and so this sweet is the best. So all I'm gonna do, put that in, stir that all up, and then I'm gonna cut up, this is so easy, y'all. We're gonna cut up 1 pound of Velveeta, just half of this big old block, stir it in our grits. When we come back, you are not gonna believe this dish. It is so pretty and hearty and good. A crowd pleaser for fall. This is Cooking Today.
Candy sponsored by Mars.
Hi, welcome back to Cooking Today. We are wrapping up my favorite fall crowd feeding meal. It is brown sugar chili and cheese grits. They are perfect. We just let that chili simmer at least 30 minutes so that it can get some good color and then develop good flavors. Then all we did was just let those, you know, grits simmer, put in our cheese cubes, about a pound, and let it stir it in. That's it. So look at my cute little crocheted pot holder. This is from a sweet lady in Bella Vista named Barb's Gatlin that made this for me. That's so nice. Thanks, Miss Barb's. And so I've got my hot pad laid down, and I've got this beautiful, heavy pot of chili. Now this dish, this recipe feeds about 10. And here's how I did that. Remember, the grits are kind of the accent here. So all I did was put just enough grit in the bottom of the bowl to kind of cover the surface of our little bowl. It's not about the grits. And so I really wanted there just to be a little foundation of them, because the grits, you don't want to go too much or they're not going to go as far as your chili does. Then I ladle on my chili right on the top. You can go heavier on that. The grits are hidden. You can't even see them, but they are under there and they are good. Then we do our dollop of sour cream right on the top. Y'all, this is so good. And let me tell you, one of my favorite nights ever that we made this recipe, instead of having our door closed on Halloween, we actually took bowls of brown sugar chili and cheese grits out to the front porch and sat and waited for trick-or-treaters to come by. It was so fun to be a welcoming face there and to see their families. So here we go. We're gonna garnish it with a little avocado sour cream. Call it a day. It's delicious, tastes like fall. Try it at home. This is Cooking Today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by West Rock Coffee Company. Kitchenware is provided by Una Mays. Groceries provided by Harps, Hometown Fresh. Online Elements sponsored by Fayetteville Farmers Market.